Greetings, friends, family, foes. We're going to be talking about a couple of things today. I'm going to start with this sad story of LaTanya Carwell, 16-year-old, last seen in Augusta. Guess with whom? Her stepfather, Leon Tripp, on April 17th. Her mother initially told authorities her daughter had traveled with Tripp to South Carolina to help a man fix a car, and that the two never returned. She allowed her teenage daughter to go someplace with her boyfriend, stepfather, and they never returned. And she's calling the police. She should have been knocking on his back door without him even knowing she was coming, if she were the kind of mother she should have been. Okay, so let's see what happened. On Tuesday, U.S. Marshals tracked down Tripp and arrested him on felony counts of aggravated stalking and kidnapping. Authorities also found Carwell's mother, Tanya, in the DeKalb home where she had moved from Augusta to live with her husband. Tanya Tripp was also arrested Tuesday and charged with hindering the apprehension of a criminal. So instead of her allowing them and helping them to arrest this person, she was in cahoots. Something is terribly wrong with her. We have to be very careful when we decide to procreate. With both parents behind bars and Carwell still missing, the teen's uncle said he just wants his niece back home in Augusta. So we don't know where this little girl is. Whatever happens to them, they reap what they sow. That's the bottom line. Let me tell you how she met him. He was in prison. You know that prisoners write more than anybody else. I'm sure when he was in high school, he didn't write at all, didn't complete one essay. But in prison, he's writing and writing and writing, and she's writing him back. She probably didn't complete a couple of essays on herself. So she meets him there. He gets out. They hook up. You bring him around your children, your female children. Not that it would matter if it was male or female, but come on, let's protect our girls as well as our boys. You allow him around those children. Something draws you to him. Ladies, there are lots of you out there, and please don't think you're all by yourself. Don't think that your situation is unique. He's special. He's misunderstood. He just needs a friend. You're just lonely and you're desperate. Pray for him from a distance. Care for him from a distance. Do not bring those people around your children. And yes, I did say those people, because you don't know if they've gotten where they're supposed to get in prison. You don't know if they've changed the way they're supposed to change while they're in prison, and you bring them around your children. That's a tragic mistake. You find out from a distance if they have been rehabilitated. You don't let your children be the way to discover that. Oh, he did something to my child. I guess he wasn't really rehabilitated. No, that's a sacrifice you don't ever want to make. I'm done with that. I haven't seen the movie with Halle Berry, the kidnap movie, but I've seen enough of the previews to know that she did what a mama ought to do. If it's not lifting cars and tossing cars and moving muscle-bound men out the way like feathers, it's chasing down the culprit until you get your child. So my advice is for those of you who have not yet had children, unless you know that in your shondo, as someone special calls it, if in your shondo you know that you will not flip the planet upside down for your children, then you need to really think about having babies. You really do. If they're not going to be the most important thing to you, if you're not going to be willing to risk it all for them, then it's possible you need to hold off and just get yourself a little kitty cat or a little puppy. You're not mother type, okay? Because moms have to put on capes. Moms have to be willing to pick up a weapon. And I'm saying that because of the story, and forgive me for not having names, but the mom who heard her children screaming in a room, went to the door, it was locked. She finally got herself in there. Her man was in there stabbing one of her children while the other one screamed and felt helpless. So she tried CPR. She tried to save the other child. All this. Why is he alive? Why is that man alive? You see, if you don't think like that, if you wouldn't go to that extreme for your children, if you don't become something else, maybe green, maybe muscular, maybe 8 feet tall, if you don't become that, if you don't believe you can, you may not be ready to be a mother. Because mothers transform, they mutate, they become whatever they need to be for their children. Believe me. And if you don't believe me, ask mine. Let's talk about Donald Trump's most recent tweets, shall we? There have been some in the past few hours. Not even a day has gone by. And there are at least 3, okay? The first one, I endorsed Luther Strange in the Alabama primary. He shot way up in the polls, but it wasn't enough. Can't let Schumer Pelosi win this race. Liberal Jones would be bad, and bad is in all caps. Let's focus. The next one. The last thing we need in Alabama in the U.S. Senate is a Schumer Pelosi puppet who is weak, all caps, on crime, weak, all caps, on the border, bad for our military and our great vets, bad for our Second Amendment. Ooh, the Second Amendment. Does he know any other amendments? And wants to raise his taxes to the sky. All that's in capital letters. Okay? Jones would be a disaster. Let me tell y'all something. We vote these people into office and then we expect them to just perform miracles and do exactly what they said they were going to do. And we don't monitor them, we don't question them, we don't call them on the carpet. And then when it's time for re-election, we don't really know what to do, especially when it comes to our circuit judges. We read a little bit that we find on the side of the street and then we go and vote for them based on, oh, I remember seeing Wilson, let me vote for Wilson. I don't remember seeing Nixon, I'm not going to vote for Nixon. That's ridiculous. And then you know that there are people in our Congress who go in, and when it's time to vote, there are pages upon pages of information they have to read and understand before they vote. Do they read it? Did you read everything you were supposed to be reading when you were in school? When you got that chapter assignment, did you read every page of that chapter? When you were told to read Julius Caesar, did you read every act of the play? And you expect our legislators to do that? Well, it's time to expect it because they're signing off on things when there's something inserted in there that has no business there, and we get an okie doke on that, and then we're all shot to hell because we don't know what just happened, and they don't know either. So let's pay closer attention to what's going on. Not as close as 45, but closer. Next tweet. Wow, even I didn't realize we did so much. Wish the fake news would report. Thank you. And then he offers a link. Where the time goes, where his time is to do these things. At Fox News is much more important in the United States than CNN. This is important. But outside of the U.S., CNN International is still a major source of, and fake is in parentheses, news. And they represent our nation to the world, which is in all caps, very poorly. The outside world does not see the truth from them. The outside world does not see the truth from them. The outside world sees a slew of tweets from 45, the leader of this free nation. They see that when they wake up, they see that when they go to bed. They think that that's what's really going on in the world. Only what he tweets. That is a sad, sad state of affairs for this country. I'm going to skip this next one. He wants us to read an editorial from Wall Street Journal. I'm going to skip that. I want you to join me as I take a look at the role of the President of the United States. The President has the power either to sign legislation into law or to veto bills enacted by Congress, although Congress may override a veto with a 2/3 vote of both houses. The executive branch conducts diplomacy with other nations. Look that word up and then compare it to what you see Trump doing. And the President has the power to negotiate and sign treaties. Look that word up. Treaties. Which also must be ratified by 2/3 of the Senate. The President can issue executive orders which direct executive officers or clarify and further existing laws. The President also has unlimited power to extend pardons and clemencies for federal crimes, except in cases of impeachment. And there's a whole lot more. Can somebody forward this to 45? I don't see anything in here that says tweet 8 times a day at a minimum. It's like some kind of dosage situation going on, and I'm concerned. Pay close attention to what's going on in this country. That is all.